Listen, I've told y'all for the last couple weeks now at least that the Georgia Bulldogs are about to go on a massive recruiting run at the end of May and into June, and that's exactly what's happening right now. After picking up a commitment publicly, finally, from five-star quarterback Dylan Raiola, the domino effect is in the works. Guys are jumping on board today. They picked up a commitment from three-star tight end Colton Heinrich out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Just a three-star. Now, I know Georgia fans are going to ask me, they already kind of are on Dawg Post. Hey, this guy's just a three-star tight end. Todd Hurley goes after the best of the best. Why is he ranked so low? What's the deal with this kid? And, my answer would be that you're going to have to trust Todd Hurley right here. He does go after the best of the best, and he does not have 5 stars next to his name or even 4 stars, but he's got plenty of size, 6'3", 230, and he can catch the football. He can go up and make an acrobatic catch over a smaller defender. He's a good route runner for someone 230. When he gets going, he's tough to bring down. So this is the guy that Todd Hurley has no problem with. And if you look at the offer sheet, it's Florida, UCF, Florida Atlantic, a lot of teams, down in Florida. But this was an easy decision for Colton, who's coming off an official visit this past weekend. And when you've got, some solid offers, right? I mean, especially you're going to play in the state of Florida for free. And then you have an opportunity to play at the University of Georgia, known as Tight End University right now, playing for the best tight end coach in college football, the #1 program, back-to-back national champions. This is a no-brainer. So for him, it was an easy decision to jump on board. He could not be more excited, and to not only get an invite to come for an official visit, that's big on its own, but to have the green light to go ahead and commit when it's not like you're choosing Georgia over Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, Tennessee, blah, 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 right? This was an easy decision. And let's look up the stats. He didn't light up the stat sheet last year. He caught, I have it right here in front of me now, 36 passes, 464 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, that's not going to impress a whole lot of people, especially when, Todd Hurley is, signed Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington and Oscar Delp, Lawson Lucky, Pierce Sproling. These guys, lit up the stat sheet and scored touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And so he's not the highest ranked, actually one of the lowest ranked guys that Todd Hurley has, brought on at tight end, but he's better than people think. And I think his stock and his ranking will only improve over time. But, he wanted to jump on board, play with Dylan Raiola, and be part of this, tradition of tight end university right now going on in Athens. So it's easy why he jumped on board, but he can run well for his size. He can create separation. He's a mismatch in the middle of the field against linebackers. He can outrun them. He's too big for opposing, defenders to cover. And he plays in Fort Lauderdale, right? So it's not like he's playing against bad competition at all. There's some really, really good players down there. So he was able to win over this Georgia staff, and that's all you need to know. Quick story, I was at a big-time program in Georgia a couple weeks ago watching practice, and they have a tight end on the roster, 4-star tight end, with offers from Notre Dame, Penn State, a lot of Big Ten schools, I think some SEC schools. I mean, kid's really good. And the coach there told me that, Todd Hurley's interested and they have their eye on him, but they want a guy who can take a jet sweep around. They want a versatile tight end who can block, be a vertical threat down the field, can help you in the screen game, and can get you the balls in a number of different ways. And the tight end at that program just isn't that type of player. Really good. And he's going to play major college football at a very, very respectable program. But he's like, Todd Hurley wants these unique tight ends, guys who can do a lot. And apparently he thinks Colton Heinrich is that type of guy. So he does, again, he runs well for his size. He can get open. He breaks tackles down the field, and he can win jump balls. So I get why Georgia's after him, but I wouldn't call him elite at any aspect of his game, and the numbers are not worthy of a 5-star. So I know Georgia fans are going to look at this and be like, hey, you brought Dylan Raiola on board. Jaden Riddell is still out there, and I still think Georgia sits in a really good spot for him. He did light up the stat sheet, over 1,000 yards, double figures in touchdowns. He's the #1 tight end, according to On3, I believe, out of Missouri. And he was in town this weekend for an unofficial visit. I think Georgia leads Alabama and Tennessee there. He's going to take an official visit to Georgia next month. But for Colton Heinrich, you have the ability to play for the University of Georgia, Todd Hartley. So this was a no-brainer for him. And again, Todd thinks he's good enough to play tight end for him. And he has high expectations for his guys. And, you know, when he watches the film, he does his research. And there are not a lot of tight ends who he says, okay, you can play for me. You can play at the University of Georgia. I think you're that good. And he's out recruiting guys that he thinks can play at the next level. Apparently, he thinks highly of Colton Heinrich. So the kid was in town for an official visit with his family, and Georgia obviously won him over. I don't think it took much to win him over, considering the offers that he had on board. But I expect his numbers to increase next year. Should catch more than 36 passes for 464 yards and should find the end zone more than he did. He has that ability, has the potential to do that. Again, he's those 10-yard routes, those 12-yard routes where, the little comeback, routes, he can catch those and get down the field. So you watch him and you say, okay, he can do a lot of good things for you. And he is an SEC caliber tight end, in my opinion. On three, the industry rankings, not on three itself, but the industry rankings, which take the rankings from all the other outlets, they have him as the number 35 tight end prospect, number 97 prospect in Florida, number 691 overall. You look at that ranking and you're saying, okay, that's a Florida Gator kid. That's not a kid who, you look at the rankings, should be able to play at the University of Georgia, but obviously the Georgia staff thinks he's a lot better than that. And I agree. I'd be surprised if there were really 35 tight ends better than this kid. He does have big, strong, reliable hands. And he just got more breaking news coming up right now. So make sure you stay over on Dawg Post. We have a lot coming on, commitments coming, more than this one, coming soon. So appreciate you all watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next one coming up right now. I'll see you over on Dawg Post.